she said, it's brutal. I said, I have a great idea. How about no tax on tips? That was the extent of my study. One waitress. Marco, you're going to vote for it, I hope? Well, you may or may not be there to vote for it, but you'll be involved. I think they probably think I'm going to be announcing that Marco's going to be vice president. I don't know. Because that's a lot of press. That's a lot of press.
So that is awesome. First of all, because he's being totally honest when he says all of the research he did on his no tax on tips thing is talking to one waitress. And that's not even honest. It wasn't based on his talk with her. It was like, I need something. How am I going to win Nevada? No tax on tips. But anyway, we'll see if they actually do it. Most of that, though, was intended to sort of tease Rubio a little bit, because supposedly Donald Trump knows who he's going to pick as his VP, and Rubio is one of the final 2 or 3. But rather than just announce it, he's going to drag it out and make Rubio sweat a little bit. And so he did that. He dragged it out a bit. At the rally, Rubio outlined what his strategy would be as VP against Biden's VP Harris. He provided insight into how he would go after Harris if he's picked as the VP, calling her a verified left-winger and mocking her laugh. So it's new, it's something fresh. Of all the crazy left-wing policies they wanted for our country, she has supported every one of them, citing her support for reducing transit emissions and banning plastic straws, though she said the paper ones break too easily. Yeah, reducing transit emissions, that's radical commie stuff. Okay, look, if you think that Harris is some wide-eyed lefty or something, you have a very weird opinion of American politics, but he has to say that. He's staying on script so he can get picked.
The video will continue in just a moment, but first I have a message for you. TYT needs your help. Membership is vital to survival, so please go to tyt.com/team and become a member today.
I'm curious, Sharon, what do you think his chances are at this point? It's either him or JD Vance, and we'll get into who doesn't want it to be JD Vance, or Doug Burgum, who nobody knows who he is, but he's apparently very wealthy. What do you think?
Well, then, when you talk about the guy who nobody knows who he is, and he's wealthy, that would probably be Trump's pick, so that he doesn't have to worry about that guy, overtaking him. Marco Rubio is such a weasel to say this about Kamala Harris. I think she'd clean his clock in a debate. Okay, what's he gonna do? Pause and drink more water like he did in that rebuttal for the Republicans? Remember how awkward that was? He just is, and all she has to do is call him little Marco Rubio like Trump did. I don't think he's gonna get the nod. I think it's gonna be Vance, and then you play he called him Hitler ads over and over again, and maybe that'll, resonate with some people. Remember that?
So good, I mean, yeah.
It's just a mess, but whoever Trump picks, the MAGA, indoctrinated crowd will cheer it, and then he'll point, my blacks for Trump, and then he'll do all that whole thing, and we'll see where it goes. But they're not going to help him; they'll be diminished. Let's just hope that he doesn't try to kill him like the last guy.
Exactly, Jesus. Yeah, being able to play the VP saying he could be America's Hitler. Harris will say that on the debate stage, but again, it's like you pick some random billionaire, or you pick the guy who predicted you'd be a dictator. Yeah. So that's fun. That said, not all of these are popular choices amongst all groups. They all have their detractors, and I want to run through a couple. So first of all, here is Trump's own son on why Rubio should not be the pick.
I have a good relationship with Marco, but there is some truth about having someone that's a little bit more establishment in there. It's like, wouldn't the Senate rhinos, wouldn't they love that? I joked, I said that about Nikki Haley. It was like, if it gets her, by the time my father's hand moves off the Bible in the swearing in process on what's the date? Is it January 20th? 12 p.m. January 20th. The second it goes off, it would be like impeachment and gone. That's how fast it would be.
God damn, is he stupid and on drugs? No, they're not going to do yeah, that's what they're gonna do. The MAGA movement would be totally cool about that. This group of Republican politicians who barely says anything when Trump attempts to overthrow the government is going to see him sworn in, and live on TV, they're gonna impeach him a moment later to put Nikki Haley in there. That's what they'll do. They won't immediately be hunted down and murdered by MAGA in the streets. It's just such a stupid theory. They're not gonna do that with Rubio either. And honestly, they don't need to. Donald Trump will either die within a year or two, likely due to the status of his arteries, or he'll get his second term, it'll be done, and then they can try to run someone else or whatever. It's such a stupid theory. Look, if you want to make a case for why it shouldn't be Marco Rubio, I think Sharon made some good points about the fact that he doesn't bring much to the debate in terms of legislation. I don't know if I can name 3 things that he's done in all the time that he's spent in the Senate across multiple terms. I don't think anyone can. And also constitutionally, he's not even technically allowed to be the VP, considering they both live in the same state. Not that Trump cares about the Constitution or anything. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.